Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Antonio Alanis, and I welcome you to a series called Making It as an Artist in the Antonio Alanis Art podcast. And in this podcast and particular series, we are using this time to explore the intersection between creativity and professional growth. Today, we're talking about something that's crucial as we are starting 2025 in January. I want to talk about what can nonprofits, businesses, potential clients, and anyone looking to work with artists in 2025, what can they consider before working with us or thinking about working with us? And as an artist who has worked closely with a lot of organizations in the past few years, I'm able to talk about firsthand about the value about bringing arts and visual language to projects that may elevate and further enhance an organization's project even more. So I want to talk about some things that have helped me in the last few years and things to consider when working with artists. A little bit about context is I am an artist and have been doing a lot of art in the past a few years, this January 2025. I'm in my third year as an artist, working full time. And over the last 3 years, I've learned a lot about how arts can further enhance an organization's projects even more. And one of the biggest observations that I've had working with clients is that many people that I work with, many clients have normally not worked with artists. And I want to think about what ways we can begin to bridge a lot of those gaps and a lot of those things that may be preventing people from reaching out to artists like myself. The first one would be what are some key steps that clients such as nonprofits, organizations can begin to take right now when working with artists in 2025? So this is a huge one. One would be to reach out to artists whenever you want to work with us. I think the most important part about working with us is that we are here to further help your vision become reality. So I think the biggest things is to start considering when you would like to work with an artist, what projects you may be having. Think about the whole year as the year 2025 is starting and any other year after that. People have hired me in the past to use art as a tool to talk about specific plans that they may have. And they have hired me to develop courses or workshops where I'm able to use art as a tool for people to describe what they would like to see in a future potential project. And the visual aspect of people coming together as well as communicating visually through words as well gives us a beautiful and I think a novel way of getting data without making it too the same. I'm not a proponent of doing surveys all the time. I understand surveys serve a purpose and are important in many ways. But I enjoy working with people who are reaching out to me and say, okay, instead of using a survey or let's do a modified way of getting data, let's hire someone who can talk about a project where they are able to understand that we're here to gather data in a way that we can use to further develop something. This can be from a vision, this can be from something they would like to have the community input. And that has been very helpful for me to work with people like that. So consider ways that you can incorporate the arts into programming, anything from data gathering, anything from making it fun, anything from making it novel. The visual arts have a beautiful way of further enhancing a project that you have already. I'm not saying that you need to consider redoing the whole project itself, but adding a new edge or something that you never done in the past may increase further engagement and excitement from participants. So the biggest advice for me in 2025 would be to start thinking about how can you integrate the creative spirit into your programming. What are the things that you can start including? Right now, it's really an invitation. It's an invitation for you to start thinking more about how can the arts further increase engagement, excitement, and think about how you can use the arts in a way that, again, you may not have used in the past. Now, to give you some examples, I have taught classes on expression, self expression. I have worked with clients who have hired me to talk about mental health and how we can use the arts in a way that allows us to talk about things that we may be going through. Now they know and understand that I'm not a therapist. And what I do is essentially bring the arts in a way that we all can talk about topics that are important when talking about mental health, such as how do we take care of ourselves? How do we take care of each other? How do we talk about things that may be hard to talk about? And the arts are a beautiful way to build relationships with people further. So really think about how can you use the arts. That's only an example, one example of how I've been able to use the arts in the past. But you can always think about how you can use the arts for your own intervention. Now, I'm not saying to completely break or pull apart a evidence-based or any sort of program that you already may have that's been already curated for you, that's already been packaged for you. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is consider your work in a way that can further include the arts. And it doesn't have to be just visual arts, it can be music, it can be theater, it can be graphic design, it can be a mural as well. A mural is a beautiful way to include community, to build, again, relationships with people. I get really passionate about talking about this because I worked in nonprofit settings for a number of years, and I still love talking about that kind of work because it was formative in my experience as a professional. So the next question would be, from my perspective, what are the most common things that may prevent organizations from hiring artists? And how can we overcome these to build stronger, more effective partnerships? One of the biggest misconceptions that artists honestly don't deserve equitable payment, that we don't deserve equitable payment, that artists should not have opportunities to live well. As artists, we all deserve to make a living out of our work. I think the important part about working with artists is education around equitable payments for artists. Now, I say this because in the last 3, 4, 5 years, sometimes people come to me and have said, Antonio, I would love for you to do this piece at X amount of dollars, when in reality, that's not what the market says. And this can potentially open up a conversation and further helping people understand how much to charge or how much to pay an artist and what the artist fees are about. The biggest thing sometimes that I think about that may be preventing people from working with artists is that art is something that's easy. It takes time and it takes resources. It takes a lot of my concentration, a lot of headspace to produce a piece. And I think it's important to think about what we can do to create working conditions that are respectful, working conditions that allow us to work with people, to pay them well, to not to want to take advantage of someone. A little bit more about deciding how much to pay an artist. Think about the market. You can get an idea about how much to pay someone based on so many factors. Think about what kind of artist or art you like to commission. This can be anything from an illustrator, a muralist, or someone who can create something for you visually. Think about possible applications such as requests for requests for proposals. Sometimes they have a budget already aligned with how much the artist would receive. So think about applications like those that may be helpful for you to decide how much to pay someone. And start from there. I think it can be a good, I'm not saying it's the best or the right amount of money to pay someone, but if you're just starting out to work with an artist or really don't know where to start, definitely consider starting there. I have a lot of things to share and definitely don't want to keep going on, but I would love to continue this conversation and probably will not be the last time I talk with you about this. But to close us out, as you begin to work with artists or consider working with us, think about how you can, again, to summarize, how you can further enhance a project that you already have, how to use the arts as a way to further promote engagement within your community or participants. But as you do that, as you begin to work with people, understand that artists also deserve to be paid well. We, like any other profession or other professional, requires a funding to the work that we do. And as you begin to educate yourself, think about how you can further add to changing narratives around artists as people who are professionals, as people who are deserving of this payment. So I think that's the biggest thing I want to share with you all today. Definitely do not let it scare you working with someone, with an artist. It's important to begin talking about how to better work with us. And it's okay if this is your first time ever working with someone, a visual artist. I think that's the beauty of the information that we work with. Not all of us will be experts in many things, but the first step is really starting out. So, again, thank you so much for being here. I wish that 2025 goes amazing for you. This year will be a beautiful opportunity for growth and exploration, how to use the arts and wherever you are. Have a great rest of your day.